But our net worth is high. Hey, a photocopy of an official certificate that proves the holder owns public shares in Maurer Koschle Mercury Group. You don't know how valuable a photocopy of a stock certificate really is, now that you think of it.
The pearlescent paper adamantly resists being held open. It demands struggle at both ends. The print inside is just as taxing, due to its fine and curlicued font. The most attractive part is the image emblazoned across the top.
Look at the top of the document.
Inside an oval frame is a grey sketch of a curly-haired girl enthusiastically riding an industrial drill.
Okay.
It's churning up hard chunks of rocky ground and scattering them into the air. In the hole created beneath is a silvery river of liquid metal. Her form is terrible. She needs to straighten her back and increase the downward pressure on that machine. Has no one taught her about ergonomics?
Physical instrument knows everything about riding a drill. Attempt to read the words.
Each letter is shaped like a laugh line, being pulled in a million different directions. They're all grinning at you, pleased with practically being indecipherable.
Love that rating.
You can do this. Maybe squinting will help.
Squint in hope of seeing something within the lines.
Your vision blurs into a haze of dark scribbles. It's like looking at a wrought iron fence through a greasy lens. Not a single recognizable symbol appears to you. That really didn't help, did it? How about opening your eyes as wide as possible?
Open them wide.
The scroll across the paper opens wide, its many grins back at you. A mess of mouths ready to swallow you up. Intertwined and interflowing. Impenetrably. Your eyes begin to water. Okay. Enough of that. It's starting to sting. Better try another approach.
Focus on the header?
A bold black mesh curves around the oval image at the top of the document. It almost looks as if it were penned with intention. Perhaps it was. You're starting to think it might actually say something. If it does, it remains hidden from you. All you see is a baffling enigma, a coiled nest of viper letters, if they even are letters.
Must be some form of logic hidden away in there.
The certificate threatens to coil back.
We failed the logic check that we needed. Okay, well, we leveled up, and man, we are making progress. So let's find all the armor pierces. Determine where the shot spirit is eternal. Become a man of plenty. Get yourself a personal brand strategist. Local kids. We got that covered. What kind of checks? Rhetoric, interfacing, shivers. Physical instrument again, but we can't level that up. Oh, the hand-eye coordination. Nice. I think that was the only thing that we had. Let's try this bullet again.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp.
Motorix. Minus 1 morale, though. Let's do it. No healing left, but we could buy some.
The bullet is still safely sealed
Nice.
away in a plastic bag bearing a
Yes!
revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46mm from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted.
It's probably that fucking gun that didn't we pawn it? Make?
The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago.
Is anyone still making these rifles?
No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling.
Who uses Belmargrave rifles these days?
Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
I think I know where this came from. Dangle the bag thoughtfully.
Okay. And?
The shot probably came from a Belmargrave rifle.
An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Ravachol, really.
Why not?
Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Worth what? Getting let's go with, I think we should have more powerful guns. We're the law!
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation.
Seems we're looking for an antiques enthusiast. Could the victim have been mixed up with some foreign guerrilla fighters? Let's start from the top.
Doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself. Okay, and? An antique. That makes sense. I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and banned the use of breech loaders in peacetime. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've
getting shot.
If everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing. But
same thing.
Back to the investigation.
Something mysterious is afoot with these antique bullet type.
Mysterious? Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun.
Let's put the bullet away. I sold that gun, right? I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about. Maybe I need to go back to the pawn shop and buy it? Locate a working firearm that shoots 4.46 ammo. Okay, well, let's talk to Evrart first. This is awesome! We're making so much progress. We're finding out more about the world. We're loaded. This conversation I'm really interested in.
So, the ship has sailed. Did you see it? I know you did.
He leans toward you.
Tell me, what did it look like as it grew smaller and smaller when that mainsail dropped behind the horizon?
There's a mean little light in its eyes.
Did it look like a germ? Did it look like a piece of bacteria?
You get a sinking feeling.
Sort of did look like that, a bacteria growing smaller and smaller. No, it looked like a boat sailing away from the coast. No need to be overly dramatic. I don't understand. What do you mean?
Don't worry, Harry. He does. At least I think he does.
You wanted us to relay all this information to her.
That this is a takeover? That I want a war? God, I hope you also told her about the drug trade. They absolutely hate getting their hands dirty with that. You can kill 1 million people, but if you do something the police doesn't like, well, then you're out of the yacht club. Goodbye, you inhuman fuck.
Now I know why you've been so forthcoming. So this is your plan all along, for me to relay this information to her.
Harry, I can't see into the future. We are all playing by ear on this planet. I had no idea she'd react so strongly.
But you did want me to relay info to her.
I did. I knew the negotiations would go better with police officers telling her horror stories from inside the harbour. It's scarier this way. Turns out it was a magnificent strategy. I never thought it'd so fundamentally fuck her up.
How do you know she left?
Harry, I bunked her cabin. I bunked her whole boat. I had cameras surveying her boat. Hell, I even wanted to bug that thermal cap, but my boys advised against it.
I bugged a toy boat that was inside of her boat.
They must have done it while Joyce was busy questioning the locals.
So you've been listening to our conversations all the time?
Not me personally. I had guys recording and processing this information for me.
The Hardy Boys?
Hell no! They'd fuck it up. They can't do anything right. I mean my real boys. My special task force boys.
Where are these boys?
They sure as hell aren't hanging out in the open with beers in their hands for the cops to question. They're pros, Mr. Kitsuragi.
Now I know why you've been so forthcoming.
No, Harry. What we have is real. We're working men. This here is real.
That's wild how you got me to do all that stuff.
Harry, you made a conscious decision to relay that information to her. You could have kept it for yourself.
But she told me a beautiful story about the discovery of the Insolinde. But she said she's insane like me.
She's not insane. What did she tell you?
This expression betrays extreme skepticism. She told me she's overrated from Pale Transit.
No, she's not. She's a sentimental alcoholic. They all are. Never take a drop and you'll be 8 laps ahead of those upper-class winos. Just like old Mr. Claire here. Try it. You'll be a real super detective.
That's actually good advice. I might.
Don't just say it, Harry. Do it. We gotta be more disciplined than they are, or we'll lose.
You use my intellectual curiosity against me.
Against you? Oh, Harry, I'd like to think I used it for you.
She told me a beautiful story about the discovery of the Insolinde.
Of course she did. Rich people have the best stories. About all the interesting things they've done and seen. All the beautiful places they've been to. It's just sentimentalism. She can afford to be sentimental, and she can afford to lose as well.
It saddens him that she can. Sours it, but only a tiny bit.
So, what's gonna happen now?
What was always going to happen? We take the harbour and she fucks off to Ozon, uncorks a bottle of wine, calls her partners, and says they need to distance themselves from this nasty business before the big shit spinner splashes everyone. Only difference is the Union doesn't have to lose 2,000 men to machine gun fire.
You could have just told me. I would have been on board. Damn, Evrart. I was hoping I'd somehow get to fuck you over in the end. Not the other way around. But I swore fealty to her. She was my beautiful lady. That lad. I have a bad taste in my mouth. You better make sure this ends up saving lives. Do I feel... I'm trying to think of like how my character would react here. How would Harry react? I think probably this. I was hoping I'd somehow get to fuck you over in the end.
Damn, Harry. I was hoping that too. But the information I gave you proved too powerful. You knew something big. And you wanted to see what happens when you tell someone. So you told her. Anyone who's ever been close to power will tell you, inside information is the sweetest thing in the world. It's better than money. It's better than pussy. Money only makes you special for some salesmen. Pussy only makes you special for yourself. Information makes you special for all mankind. It's the ticket to history. Right on, Harry. What you did was participate in history. When history calls, you have to pick up. You had no choice. None of us ever do. A hard disco cop like you, I knew you weren't one to resist temptation.
You know what, detective? I am going to leave this out of my report, and I suggest you leave it out of yours too.
Just look at the three of us. The three careless boyaderos. Good times. Good times.
So what the fuck now?
Now we let bygones be bygones because there's work to do. For me and for you. I suppose there was a reason you came here, so let's have it. What can I help my best friend and comrade with today?
I met a girl named Estelle who said she's working with you.
Funny. That doesn't ring any bells, Harry.
Lazy yawn.
Funny. She was trying to set up a narcotics operation in the old church on the coast.
Oh, that Estelle. Yes, I do seem to remember sending a pretty young thing down there to liven up the place. Get some melodic music in there.
Did you also tell her to start the amphetamine lab?
Amphetamine lab? That sounds very immoral and debauched. Frankly, a health risk. But what do I know about kids these days? The music they listen to, the drugs they do while they listen to that music?
Shakes his head with a melancholy smile.
It sounds to me like you are trying to start an amphetamine lab in the district. And you're using some delinquents you found, God knows where, to set it up and run it for you.
And we're getting paid. Actually, we already got paid.
Found God knows where? That Estelle is the daughter of Miko the kebab. A man who once killed a guy with a kebab. I think a daughter of a man who killed a man with a kebab can handle running a little nightclub, don't you?
Miko the kebab? Really?
Maybe it was Bogovir. Or Jakub. I think it might have been Conrad.
I let them go on with their operation.
The lieutenant tilts his head, but makes no
He wasn't there when we set that up.
Well, you know how it is, Harry. Kids will be kids. At her age, me and Edgar were getting drunk, sneaking out at night, throwing rocks at motor carriages.
Throwing rocks at motor carriages isn't really the same thing as running a drug lab, is it?
But anyway, don't let me drift away to memory lane. Tell me how I can help you, Harry.
Remember the container I asked you about? Turns out there's a mega rich light bending guy inside.
Mega rich lightbending guy? Oh my god. How did that get in there?
He's so rich he could get in anywhere.
Damn it to hell, Harry. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega rich lightbending guys.
Nothing could stop an innovative mind.
Honestly, Harry, we might be moving a spot of drugs through this harbor, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega rich. I have a reputation to protect.
The mega rich are people too. He was a nice man. Gave me stock tips. Transportation of the mega rich should be more tightly regulated. Didn't seem like he was safe. He should be honored by the presence of this magus. He was of half Revacholian blood and amassed his wealth using the mysterious bond of nationhood. Hey, he was nice, man. Gave me stock tips.
No, they're not. They're vermin, and one just found a way inside my container. Soon, he'll bring the others. All 3 of them. Thank you for telling me. I'll see to this immediately.
Uh-oh.
I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry.
Look! My gun!
My. She's quite the looker, Harry. You can't imagine how pleased I am the 2 of you are reunited. Tell me, was it difficult to convince the pigs to give it up?
Not at all.
I knew you could handle it. I know my special policeman. Anyway, I'm glad you're all right and armed again, Harry. Now, what can Evrart Claire do for you?
Let's just see if there's anything
I'm
else
always
here.
happy to educate and entertain you, my friend. Very nice, Harry. Most certainly, Harry. Nothing brightens my day like brainstorming these things with you.
Bullet in the hangman's head.
So they shot him.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard. What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman. By all means, Harry, what's on your mind?
Evrart, I'm gonna leave now, but we might talk again later. I don't know. I feel like maybe this is the last time we're gonna be talking to Evrart. Okay. Wow. Look at this. Look at these tasks. Find the armor pieces. Determine where the shot came from. Spirit is eternal. Become a man of plenty. Find the murder weapon. Sing insect's case. Find out the rivers where the trap is empty. Could do this. We've got a bunch of checks to try out too. Well, this has been quite a session, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. Next time, I think I'm going to be finishing it off. I said this at the beginning of the last recording session, and I think I've played like at least 5 or 6 hours since then. I'll see you on the next one, and I love you all.